Have you ever imagined living in a world where even a smile could get you arrested? Where laughter itself was treated as an act of rebellion? In the forgotten kingdom of the East, that nightmare once became real. It began with a man whose heart broke louder than any war drum, Emperor Zhen, the ruler who banned laughter. When Zhen first ascended the throne, the empire celebrated him as a hero. He was young, intelligent, a visionary. He promised peace after years of chaos. Under his rule, cities flourished, trade routes reopened, and music once again filled the streets. But peace came with a price that no one could see. The emperor's joy was hollow, his smiles practiced, his eyes distant. Behind the grand walls of the imperial palace, something dark was growing, an unseen wound. The turning point came during the Festival of Blossoms, a yearly celebration where families danced in the palace courtyard. The emperor's only son, a bright little boy adored by all, ran through the marble stairs chasing a kite. A moment later, the laughter stopped. The boy fell and never woke up again. The sound of laughter had filled the air just seconds before his death. That sound, once a symbol of happiness, became poison to the emperor's heart. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the emperor stopped appearing in public. When he finally emerged, his face was pale, his expression carved from stone. His first new decree shocked the entire empire. No man, woman, or child shall laugh again. At first, people thought it was a cruel joke, but soon soldiers marched through the markets, silencing merchants who dared to chuckle. Teachers punished students for smiling in class. Performers vanished overnight. The laughter that once echoed in the valleys was gone, replaced by the hollow rhythm of fear. The emperor's paranoia deepened. He ordered every song with a joyful tune to be banned. Painters were forced to use only black and gray, claiming color was a distraction from discipline. Even the royal gardens were stripped of flowers, replaced with stones and barren trees. He believed that joy weakened the soul, that sadness made men obedient. And so the empire became a graveyard of emotions, silent, motionless, and obedient. Yet far away, hidden among the mountain villages, whispers began to rise. Travelers spoke of secret gatherings where people met in darkness and dared to tell jokes quietly, covering their mouths as they tried not to be heard. They were called the Smiling Ones, a name that both mocked and defied the emperor's decree. Their laughter was faint, fragile, but alive, and with every suppressed giggle in the night, the shadow of rebellion slowly crept toward the palace walls. The raids began before dawn. Soldiers in black armor stormed through the mist-covered mountains, following the echoes of soft laughter that drifted between the trees. Torches flickered against the stone walls of a small hidden hut where the members of the Smiling Ones gathered for what would become their last night of freedom. Inside, candles glowed weakly, faces half lit as men and women tried to hold back their laughter while sharing forbidden jokes. They believed they were safe until the door crashed open. Steel clashed against silence, and the laughter stopped once again. When news reached the capital that the rebels had been captured, Emperor Zhen demanded to see them himself. The prisoners were brought into the throne hall, their hands bound, heads lowered, faces bruised but unbroken. The emperor stepped down from his golden dais, his cold gaze sweeping over them. Yet as his eyes met the last prisoner, something inside him froze. Among the captives stood a woman cloaked in white. Her face was pale, familiar, too familiar. Slowly she lifted her head. The hall fell silent. It was Lady May, the empress he believed had died years ago. For a long moment, neither spoke. The emperor's voice trembled as he asked, "Why?" She met his stare, tears shining in her eyes. She said, "Because they still remember what you forgot. They remember how to live." She explained how she had fled the palace after their son's death, unable to bear his transformation into a man consumed by grief. She had wandered among commoners, teaching children to laugh again, trying to bring warmth back into a world turned to ice. Every giggle she heard reminded her of the child they had lost and of the man her husband once was. The emperor's heart cracked open like old stone. For the first time in decades, he felt something stir, sorrow, guilt, and a faint, painful tenderness. He dismissed the guards and approached Lady May slowly, as if she might vanish. He whispered, "I tried to erase laughter because it took him from me." Her reply came softly, "No, my lord, you let grief take you from him." Something broke in him then. A sound rose from his throat, awkward, rough, unfamiliar. A laugh trembling with agony, yet real. The courtiers stared as the emperor laughed for the first time in 30 years, tears streaming down his face. The next morning, a new decree spread across the empire. The ban on laughter was lifted forever. Music returned to the streets. Children ran freely, their joy echoing against the palace walls. The emperor watched from his balcony, smiling faintly before retreating into silence. He never appeared in public again. Years later, when his tomb was discovered, the statue carved above his resting place bore a subtle smile, the only one he allowed himself in death. And they say that when the wind passes through the ruins of his palace at night, a faint echo of laughter drifts through the air, the last laugh of a man who once silenced the world and finally remembered what it meant to feel alive.